wanted to see the site where they dug
I wanted to get the
the,
back of your
laundry
cap
room
that said we
where kids
investigate.
used to sit. And, sure.
You see, we investigate, NBC.
So we, here, do you want me to?
Yeah, I just clicked it on.
I know. That must be very
I'm
awkward
standing
for you
right in
at
front of
times,
your
huh?
camera. Wait, where shall I get?
So we've just had, but in fact, we've had other challenges which keeps us from being like super on top of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just had their power out from 1 o'clock yesterday morning until almost 10 o'clock yesterday evening. So here these people have like limited income. Their food's gone now.
It went rotted.
Yeah, they had no way to charge it, and it was only their building. So it's just it's always incredible to me how these things just slip by, and these humans, it's human suffering in a way.
Yeah.
But it's stress on top of stress on top of stress. It's just really,
Okay.
They're going to say.
Right. Yeah. Can you give me your name, first and last, and spell them, please?
Sure. Kathryn, Kathryn, Lundgren, Lundgren.
Okay. And you are with a group, or you just?
I'm the president and founder of the Treasure Island Health Network,
Okay.
but I'm also a resident. I've lived here for nearly 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your reaction to the Navy's announcement is going to test every house for radioactivity.
First, it's about time, because I've requested this to be done since the beginning of 2011, 2012, trying to get them to do a more thorough examination of the neighborhood and, in fact, the residential areas. Because if you're cordoning off a portion of a residential area, saying that it's spread or widespread, and you really don't know where it is, you don't know how much it is, you don't know what it is called, then chances are it could be just about anywhere, which includes our housing units and our pads. And so, when you live in an unstable environment as far as geographic issues or seismologic, hydrologic, you're talking about small pieces that can surface through, saturation, just the ground movement, any of the Navy's actions, which are in question by their own people from the 70s back. We live on the edge of a burn pit. Where are these commodities? Like, to me, it just is a no-brainer to go ahead and go into these buildings and check where the people are walking. Because at one point, there were children in those homes. There were military children here. So you're going to come and take a small section and say that's the place you're going to focus on, when we live in other areas where you obviously are digging things up in front of my home.
What's your thoughts on the Navy's response to your concerns over the years, and most recently?
Ambivalence, superiority, lack of ethics. If you know that these things, enough for you to create protocols around prevention of inhalation, ingestion, dermal contact, you know the conditions here on the island with the wind, the velocity, the direction, it blows right over the buildings where people are living. You know the substances, there's almost 30 different chemicals, there's asbestos, lead, radioactive material. You know that the transmission or the contact, the possibility for us to come into contact with anything is at its most extreme level. And yet you do nothing? That, to me, is negligence. That's inhumane and it's unethical. And I think that if you stand to profit in the billions by using this land, then you can most definitely afford a couple million to relocate people.
What do you think of? Maybe it's delayed, but now they are going to test every house and every area around the houses of every house on this island. Your thoughts on that?
Again, it's about time. I wish that they would not take our comments and our suggestions to them to ease this process or to even make it more efficient so lightheartedly in these meetings, and then turn around and make it look like they had this grand idea. Because we've been asking for them to do that. We've been asking for them to check the pipes. We've been asking for them to check the water, the air, The indoor air quality is in question, as a matter of fact. We've evidenced that even with the fire department recently. So there's other issues. Yes, it's about time they did it, but how exactly are they going to do it is the question. And who will be present with them to make sure that it's done properly? Will any of our citizens, any of our residents be allowed to follow them through their own homes? Will we receive all the data in a timely fashion? Is the threshold for radioactive exposure actually the threshold it should be? Those have been raised recently. Again, everywhere else in the world has a lower threshold for exposure rates than we do. So why are we basing our threshold and our allowable levels, especially for children, on a less than international standard?
How was it that they found that last piece? Was it January?
That, January 29th. I was inside talking with just kind of a reporter about lifestyle, not necessarily about this, which is ironic. And I was saying goodbye and we stepped out, and then they were out here with a saw. I'm just trying to pull up the concrete. And they did find it. It was about 1.5 feet below the surface.
Can you point to where it was?
Could you let this go? Could you let her finish?
So actually, it was right over here, about 10 feet from my garbage area, my front step. And coincidentally,
they were cutting the concrete out.
Yeah, they were trying to cut the concrete, but they couldn't get through it. They didn't have the right blade or something. And I just thought it was really strange. And I saw Gil Bain, but I was under the impression that it was CBI who was doing the remediation work. And I thought it was kind of odd. And so I grabbed my iPad and I came out and I just put it on record and started talking with them. And as they were doing this, about 1.5 feet below the surface is where they found an object. And so they let me, as they actually measured it in the ground, they kind of let me take pictures of it. And,
How did they know to look there?
They had done a scan. So DPH had done a scan, California DPH, in last May. And then the questions and things that we had asked in the RAM meetings after that had prompted another investigation from the military. Sorry, I'm getting kind of cold. But the military, it's interesting because California DPH did it at waist level and found a few spots. And then the military did it on towed array scans, which bring you to maybe a few inches above the surface, which gives you a more accurate reading, which is when they found a bunch of other spots. And so I guess that when they ended in November, they decided in January that it was time to come dig it up. A few months. Again, that's the spot where my kids would sit and do chalk drawings and, when they were homeschooled. So that was a frequent play area so that I could observe my children while I was cooking or running in the home. Mm-hmm. So it disturbs me that, in like first, second grade, my daughter's sitting out here on the grass, not